Australia's National Plan is a joint government and industry commitment to manage the response to marine pollution incidents. Responding to marine pollution incidents is a hazardous operation, and the highest priority in any response will always be human safety. This video has been produced to help you, the responder, to stay safe while working to protect the marine and coastal environment. No training video can address every hazardous situation. The aim of this video is to give you the information you require to identify hazards and their associated risks, and to work safely around them. Keeping people safe is our highest priority. Effective management of hazards to health and safety, and the analysis of these, are an integral part of the success of any marine spill response. It works like this. The Incident Safety Officer and the Occupational Health and Safety Unit develop an incident safety plan and advise the incident management team on how to put it into action. The Incident Safety Plan provides a risk management model to identify the hazards, assess the risks, and provide detailed control measures. You should use this plan to keep yourself and your team safe when working in the field. First, identify the hazard. A hazard is a potential or existing situation that may cause you harm or adversely affect your health. Second, assess the risk. What's the chance of someone being injured? And if they are, how serious could it be? Finally, eliminate the hazard. It's what we call the hierarchy of control system, and it's the only effective way to manage hazards. First, remove the hazard. If that's not possible, separate people from the hazard by installing guards or barriers. If they have to work near the hazard, they should be trained in how to work safely around it. Always erect a sign to remind people of the danger. A combination of these measures may be required. For hazards that can't be removed using any of these measures, personal protective equipment is mandatory. You must consider and prepare for all possibilities. And don't forget your hard hat. However, if these measures don't minimize the hazard and personal safety is still at risk, stop the operation immediately. Here are some of the hazards you may encounter during a response. Spilt oil or chemicals, the working environment itself, incorrect use of equipment, and the long working hours required to contain the situation. Common hazards include flammability and toxic effects of the pollutant, fatigue, improper use of equipment, poor manual handling techniques, adverse environmental conditions, and other physical dangers. Fire or explosion may be a risk in any pollution spill. You should always avoid any area where there is a potential fire or explosive hazard. Assessing this risk should only be done by trained experts using appropriate techniques and equipment. Until the risks have been assessed, all ignition sources within the area should be removed. Make sure you check for other possible ignition sources such as petrol engines or hot work. Do not enter any area until it has been declared safe. Pollutants can be complex chemical mixtures. Always protect yourself against toxic effects, which can range from dizziness and nausea, skin rashes through to organ diseases and even death. The potential sources of these toxins include the pollutant, chemical dispersants, and equipment exhaust gases. MSDSs, or Materials Safety Data Sheets, detail ways to protect yourself and what to do if exposure occurs. Toxins can enter the body in a number of different ways. Through inhalation, ingestion, skin contact, and puncture or pressure wounds. Remember, stay away from the hazard site unless you have to be there. Ensure adequate ventilation. Maintain personal hygiene by washing hands prior to eating and drinking, and wear recommended clothing and personal protective equipment. Fatigue is a common problem during incident response, particularly if it's over a prolonged period. The fact is, a tired worker is more prone to be involved in an accident. Common causes of fatigue include inadequate breaks, infrequent or unhealthy food and drink, excessive work hours, prolonged response operation, a stressful working environment, and limited welfare facilities. Fatigue may result in loss of concentration, slower reaction time, short tempers, reduced effectiveness, increased risk of accidents, and a reduced immune system. Avoid fatigue by rotating staff on a temporary roster, keeping track of their work times, providing adequate breaks, relief crews, catering, a relaxed area with seating and shade away from the work environment, and comfortable accommodation. Poor equipment handling can lead to severe personal injuries. Check all your equipment before you use it. Make sure the services are up to date and well maintained. Check hydraulic fittings, gauges, controls, and lift slings for damage and wear and tear. Make sure covers and guards are secure. The equipment should be appropriate for the task and operated by trained people. Most injuries in the workplace are caused by poor lifting and manual handling. Make sure you have enough people to lift. Where possible, use forklifts, HIABs or trucks, rather than people to move heavy items. Don't attempt to carry heavy items over slippery or uneven terrain, and ensure the area is clear of obstacles. Always use handles or handholds. Bend your knees and lift with the legs, not the back. Depending where you're deployed during the response operation, your working environment will present different hazards. In the field, exposure to the elements may cause heat stroke, hypothermia, sunburn, windburn, and danger from shifting tide. Wear suitable protective clothing and ensure you drink adequate fluids. Dangerous local or seasonal wildlife such as stingers may be present. Hazards in the field or your working area can result in slips, trips or falls due to wet or oily surfaces. Injury from moving or falling objects, vehicle accidents, and stranding due to changing tides. To avoid injury, carefully assess your working environment and prepare yourself before you proceed. Plan access and exits. Establish a first aid station. Ensure adequate lighting. Lay sorbents on slippery or work surfaces. Tape down electrical cords. Erect signage and establish safety zones. Place barriers to restrict access to an area. Limit vehicle activity. And use trained personnel. Decontamination facilities will be provided at every field work site. These may range from washing areas with waste reception facilities to a purpose-built decontamination unit. During any spill response operation, you will be required to wear sturdy industrial clothing. Wearing a life jacket or a personal flotation device is mandatory when working on the deck of a vessel or wharf. Additional personal protective equipment such as safety glasses, hard hat with chin strap, anti-skid boots, ear protection and gloves should be used when the hazard cannot be removed or minimized. Specialized training is required for those who work around aircraft, in confined spaces, and for wildlife capture and treatment. This video has not addressed these issues. Do not take part in any of these activities unless you've completed the appropriate training and been assessed as competent. Safety is achieved through a combination of training, good planning and organisation, and effective management.
According to the model, John, that's where the spill is going to impact. But we really need to get up in the air and actually do a hospital check this out.
Appointing an incident safety officer, implementing an incident site safety plan, And briefing personnel on OH&S concerns will enable the operation to be conducted as safely as possible.
However, there will be oil coming ashore in the next 6 to 12 hours.
Remember, safety is the #1 priority. Think carefully before acting. Look after yourself and return home safely.